everyone, and welcome to the second of St.Ation Society interviews, where we learn more about some of the university's extracurriculars and the people behind them. My name is Laura, and today I'm joined by Ollie Grimes, the president of the St Andrews Investment Society. Lovely to see you, Ollie.
Yeah, you too.
To start with, then, would you like to briefly introduce yourself and your society for those watching at home?
So, my name's Ollie, as you said. I'm president of the Investment Society for the next academic year. I'm starting third year and I do financial economics and management. And our society is, in short, an investment fund that's currently sat at around $22,000 to $23,000, and we invest in multiple different assets, and it's open to all students, and we will contribute to decide what to buy really and learn more about financial instruments and investing, in short.
That sounds great. It sounds really interesting. So one of the first things I thought of when I was researching your society is that investing can be very intimidating at first, especially if you have no prior experience. And since you say it's open to everyone, how do you plan to support new members who have never been involved in something like this before?
So that's one of the things that we have struggled with a lot in the past couple of years, is there is obviously a big divide between the people who absolutely love finance and know so much about it and those who have no knowledge at all. So we do have an analyst training program. So every single member that joins, which is currently around 250 of us, all get access to our educational material. So they get to learn all of the basics from what is like a M&A transaction all the way up to building a DCF model and all these Excel templates to analyze companies. Even within that, we've realized there's still a bit of a knowledge gap between some of the people. So this summer, starting kind of late July, we're beginning a new InvestSoc Explained series, which is going to go through the real basics of, the terms, the basic kind of ratios that you need, and really try and help everybody get up to a certain base level of knowledge that they could look at, the Financial Times and understand what's actually going on in that. And hopefully that means people can go into interviews for internships and graduate roles with confidence to actually talk about the financial world.
That sounds great. It looks like you've got that covered for next year. Looking forward to see what happens there.
Hopefully, yeah. It's getting there. There's a lot of, obviously it's such a massive industry, so there's a lot of different things we're trying to get through, but we're pretty happy with what we're building up slowly. We've got a great team of people working on the education side, so hopefully it will be useful for people joining.
You just mentioned there that you have a great team. Are there any opportunities for incoming students to get involved in the leadership team at the Investment Society at some point?
Yeah, so we've currently got applications open for our deputy roles in the executive committee. So that's in things like the partnerships team, the marketing team, HR, which is not the most always finance roles. That's to do with more actually running the society. It's got some great opportunities for people who, even if they want to go into like graphic design, you can happily it's not a finance only society. We have people who don't do any finance topics, don't know anything about finance, don't really want to do anything in finance, but kind of want to experiment and do stuff. So we have roles in all of those areas. Also, our sector head and assistant sector head roles will be opening at the very start of the year. So September, we'll have opportunities for anybody who wants to get involved in managing a sector. There's always opportunities. It's just a case of watching out on all the social medias and keeping up to date and having the confidence to apply. I think that's the one thing that we really want to try and, or personally I want to try and push, is in my first year I didn't have the confidence to put myself forward to actually even join in the first place. I was like, that seems a bit scary. So we're trying to make sure that people feel like it's approachable enough to put their name down and encourage people to join, because it is a society for everybody at the uni. There isn't any knowledge required. There's no degree. You don't have to do economics. Like, we have people that do every degree at the uni as part of the society. So there's always opportunities for everyone.
Okay, that's perfect. So thinking more about the mechanics of society then, do people invest on a monthly or an annual basis, or is it one payment at the beginning of an academic year? Just talk me through how the society actually runs.
So the society, as I said, is 250 members currently. So it's a large group of us. We've grown up pretty well. So we have 6 different sectors which cover everything from like pharmaceuticals and healthcare to emerging markets and technology, and just try and cover all the bases. And each of those sectors is run by a sector head and assistant sector heads, and then they have about 30 analysts in each sector. So throughout the term, each sector will work as a little group to come up with a company. They'll analyze, they'll look at market, like companies within their sector, and pick out what they think is the most promising company that the society should invest in. And then at the end of each term, we have our stock pitches where all of the sectors come together, pitch their stock. And so we have 6 different pitches. And then the whole society gets to vote on the 3 stocks that were the most promising. And that's after, you have about a 15 to 20 minute stock pitch for each sector, then a Q&A. So the society gets to, really drill into the company and ask the hard questions. And then we vote. And then twice a year, we all go through and then buy those stocks for the fund, and then do it all again and just keep doing that. And it's a great way because it gives everyone a chance to contribute as much or as little as they want. We get some people who will happily contribute hours and hours a week and really dive into it, and people who will come here and there and do a couple hours, maybe a month, if that. Like, it's very flexible in terms of what people can and can't do, and just trying to bring everyone's knowledge together, but in a way that's best for each person.
Perfect. Okay, so COVID, the reason why I'm speaking to you virtually this morning, has impacted just about everything in the world. But how has it impacted the investment society?
Quite massively. Obviously, we're a very in-person society, meetings wise. All of our sector meetings on a weekly basis, all of the stock pitches were all done in person in kind of the main quad in the schools in there, and none of that has been able to go ahead. So we've had to have a massive shift over to basically taking this huge kind of structure of students that existed in person, and then putting it into teams and trying to make it engaging so that we still have meetings going on and still, it was a big shift. And also all of our in-person events, we try and do events with banks and investment funds who will come up and have speakers and networking events, and obviously none of that has been able to go ahead as it usually does. So there's been a big shift, but I think we've done extremely well. We still got consistent meetings. Like, every sector was doing weekly meetings with great attendance the whole way through the year, and we've had some incredible speaker events. We've had kind of heads at some of the biggest institutions. We've got new partnerships that we wouldn't have been able to do before. So we've really managed to still kind of provide our members with valuable events that some wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for COVID, because a lot of people don't want to travel up to Scotland to come and chat to us, but they will happily jump on a Teams call for half an hour. So yeah, it's been a really interesting time in trying to make it shift and still be engaging, and we've definitely struggled on some aspects of that, as I think every society at the uni has. I'm looking forward to next year with kind of a hybrid where we can still get speakers in to actually talk and network in person, but still tap into people that we would never normally be able to reach because we can just call them instead, and that's kind of now a normal way of doing things.
Yeah, it's a nice change to hear somebody mention the positive part is in getting speakers that wouldn't have otherwise been able to travel there in person. So everything has a silver lining, I suppose.
Exactly.
So how successful has the society been in previous years?
If I'm guessing I'm going to go with, there's 2 different types of success in our society, I'd say. There's the actual fund itself and how well that performs, which is kind of is not the most important side of it. The fund is good. It performs. It pretty much tracks the S&P, which is kind of the global standard for returns that most people try and beat each year. So we're pretty much tracking that within a couple of percent, which is very solid considering we are a very passive fund, which means that we kind of don't actively trade day to day. We're not trying to beat all the little ups and downs. We're kind of holding things for 5, 10, 15 years. So it's very much we've done well to kind of stick with that S&P, and we're happy with that because it's not the main focus of the society. The main focus is providing the education to members and giving people the opportunity and the confidence to apply to internship roles and graduate roles and be successful in that. And on that front, I think we've been extremely successful. If we look at the alumni of the society and the uni, we've had some people go on to great roles. We've had people who were doing kind of like, I think there was one girl who was doing an English major, came to join the society, came to a speaker event, and got an internship at one of the biggest hedge fund, like investment fund management companies from speaking to somebody, and was set and was on their summer internship program, then graduate program, and was done. And it's like, that is the epitome of what the society aims to do. We're trying to get people who maybe had an inkling they wanted to try something in finance to come along and all of a sudden be on the way to where they want to be. Yes, we want to maybe make a little bit more money here and there so we can donate the profits to charity each year, and some years it's more and less than other years, but that's not as important to us as kind of the education and the holistic improvement of the student body and help where they need to be.
Perfect. So finally then, moving slightly away from the investment society, what is one piece of advice that you would give to incoming students?
My one piece of advice, I would say very much just throwing yourself into things and saying yes to a lot. It's very cliche, but I think your first year or two, you have more time. You really need to just experience as much as possible. And from personal experience, from just saying yes to pretty much everything that people would say, oh, you should give this a go, all of a sudden I've done a lot of things I don't think I would have normally done. Investment society being one of them. Like, a really good friend was like, oh, you should think about doing it. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll give it a go, let's see where it happens. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, I'm running it. And if you'd have said that to me in first year, I probably wouldn't have gone, yeah, I could run that. And then all of a sudden there's a bit of the imposter syndrome, but it's definitely it's a great experience. And the same with, like, yeah, some of the other stuff I do is I wouldn't have thought doing it, and then just from kind of saying yes has led on some great things. But yeah, committing to it and meeting people and putting yourself out there is the best way to get the best experience out of it. So that would be my advice.
With that, I'd like to thank Ollie Grimes very much for joining me this afternoon, and for everybody for watching at home. Join me next time as I talk to some of the St Andrews charities looking to make a difference both at home and abroad. See you then.